And good evening, everybody. Happy New Year to one and all. Welcome to the new 2023 version of The Roundtable.
Yes.
Of course, same cast of characters, still here to bring you the greatest topics all around the world because we can talk about whatever we want. And as Rick said at our last show, think of this as the male version of what? The View. Because we can talk about whatever we want, whether
That's
we agree or disagree. Today we have a special guest, which I'll introduce you in a second. But first, the G-Man, George Miklos.
Back in the saddle.
We are back.
I'm glad to be back in our new dig, our new home.
Home
really,
of
really cool.
worldwide digital broadcasting.
I'm glad you said that because I'm still memorizing it.
WWDBTV.
Thank you. And I'm glad that we can be together again. And we all had a great holiday, I believe.
Absolutely,
we all just kind of hung out and with our families and did a bunch of crazy stuff. I was on Fremont Street on New Year's Eve.
I can't wait to hear if you have any story.
No,
Were you there
not really.
Personally or
Oh, I was there working. Yeah, I had to work. But no, it was actually fairly safe. You had your usual people that overdrank and overindulged and passed out. No fights. I didn't see any of that. Crowd was real well behaved.
Well,
shockingly.
Good. Excellent.
For 30,000 people down there.
That's all they had? I thought
on the Fremont. On the Strip was another 300,000.
There you go.
I want to ask a question. Did anybody lose their toupee that night? Because the wind was blowing about 60 miles an hour, bro.
I did. What are you worried about?
You know what's funny is that canopy downtown on Fremont. It covers a lot of that weather.
Right.
And it was even the heat. It was like 50. Mm-hmm. It was really nice. And it was great. And the fireworks, Union Plaza, you couldn't really see the fireworks because of the canopy.
Right.
But the music was great. They had 3 stages. And it's funny how when you cross the street to each stage area, the other music goes away. Then you just hear the music of where you're at.
Oh, so there was no overlap.
None.
Well,
it was
good.
amazing. Good. Amazing what they did.
Well, don't people think that New Year's, man, happens every day, though? When you wake up,
well, in Vegas,
I think New Year's is every day. That's just my opinion.
Right.
I don't take one day and say, well, Happy New Year and all that stuff. That's just me.
Right.
Every morning when I open my eyes, I'm like, Happy New Year, bro. You made it.
We get to do it again.
We get to do it again.
Man, it would be the year 25-25 if I did that.
Introducing probably one of the greatest wide receivers to ever play the NFL. Of course,
No,
the Denver Broncos.
Yes.
A punt returner. All right. Whatever. You ran with the damn ball and you ran pretty fast.
It was a nightmare in high school.
Mr. Rick Upchurch. Yeah. And today's special in-studio guest, George, why don't you introduce him? We'll give you the honors.
My good buddy, Jim Duffner. We've known each other for a dozen years or so. And I was thrilled when you guys met and I got the text from you. And I thought it was just awesome that you had the ability to meet before you came in here. And I'm glad you're here, Jim. I haven't seen you in a while. And just Jim Duffner. He played for the Packers and the Bills over his career a while back. I won't say how long you can do that. But the cool thing is we're here today because Jim's got a book out with about the story of Lyle Alzado, his best friend, good friend over the years. And Rick played with him. So this is cool. I'm looking forward to hearing the stories, the mutual stories of friendship and camaraderie with them. And thanks again for being here. And let's do this.
Let's rock and roll.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I want to let our audience know that although today we have football abound here, of course, my Giants getting into to the playoffs.
Yeah, you did. You're in.
I noticed nobody else wearing their playoff. Oh, wait a minute. The Broncos and Raiders didn't make the playoffs. Buffalo. Packers are up. Buffalo. Yes, Buffalo certainly is in. And Packers still have a chance, of course.
Yes, they do.
But I want to let everybody know who's new to watching us on the Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Network that we pretty much talk about anything and everything. We don't talk about sports necessarily. We talk about health issues. We talk about news topics. So we encourage you to go back to on our Facebook page, pull up the videos tab, and you can pull up any of the shows from the past to see really all the stuff that we do talk about today, just is going to be football eccentric. Playoff time. We have a gentleman who wrote a book about one of the greatest football players that played at the time, maybe a maniac when he played, of course.
Right.
But we have football's going to be abounding today, but we're also going to touch on a little human side of football, and that is, of course, we're going to talk about what happened this past Monday night during Monday Night Football. We'll get to that in just a few moments. So, gentlemen, first of all, Jim, thank you for coming. It really is a great honor to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is
look, I'm supporting.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, listen, one of my show co-hosts that I do on my wrestling show, big Buffalo Bills fan, and my wife's principal, her boss, is also a Bills fan. He got stuck up in Buffalo with all the wonderful weather y'all got in the back east last week or so. By the way, I feel bad for being Southwest Airlines.
Oh boy,
man,
they're in trouble right now.
All the pictures of the suitcases that were stuck in airports.
Well, you know what messes them up?
What's that?
Is that they don't connect with other flights. You cannot, man, take your ticket and go to American. You can't go to Spirit. You can't go to any of those other airlines and transfer your ticket.
There you go. That is a big problem. Yeah, for sure.
They might change that policy.
Sure they will. Let's hope so for the better. If you do want to call us and join us in our conversation, we want to encourage that. Of course, you can give us a call at 702-992-3207. If you do send us a message through Facebook or whatever you see right there on the screen, that our venerable producer, Mr. JPEG, boy, talk about using a name out of the past, is going to probably put some of the messages up there so you'll be able to see your message. What other platforms are we on? We're on YouTube, of course. We are on Facebook, as you see. We'll also be up on the Roku channel for Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV on their website. Now, there is an updated phone app or a regular app for any of your devices that is going to be uploaded and available within maybe a week or so. It's being upgraded. But in the meantime, you can go to WWDBTV.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a little thing up there that says Listen Now. And all you have to do is click on that, and you can at least listen to the audio of our show when we are live, as well as any shows that are up. Hi, Denise. See you out. Denise, I know that, Denise. I think George knows that, Denise, also. So you see, it works. We get your name and we get your message on the screen as well. So,
honey, I'm grateful she got on it by herself.
You're talking about Facebook, yes?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So anyway,
I know.
Of course, so, of course, if you missed the show live, that's okay. Again, you can go back to YouTube. You can go to our Facebook page and go up to Roku. Now, rumor has it, and I'm going to ask our producer to verify this or not. I heard about a month ago that at some point we may be able to do live stuff direct on Roku. Have you heard anything about that, sir?
That's not true.
That's not true.
There you go.
Is it because we didn't read it on the internet yet?
That's correct.
Okay.
Roku is now building their own smart TV.
Okay.
Wow.
Perfect.
Isn't that amazing?
They don't have the capabilities of going live yet.
Okay. So scratch that. That's not true. Anyway, so there's enough places that you'll be able to catch us. If you have some thoughts, comments, please feel free to pop them on our Facebook page and just let us know what you're thinking. Maybe a topic you want us to discuss in a future episode. Maybe you want to know how the heck we got on the TV and behind a microphone. We don't know. We just know high people in low places. I don't know.
How the
but
hell
somehow we did. You know what it is? When you have a guy like Rick Upchurch, they'll let you in anyway.
Oh, Lord. Right. Boy, hey, don't pass that around too much, man. Then I come out with handcuffs.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Here's your seat by the kitchen. Yeah, don't worry about it. You may have to serve yourself. Oh, that Rick Upchurch guy? Yeah, we'll double the price for you. No problem. Then give you half off.
Come on with us. You got some explaining to do.
That's right. Exactly. So, Jim, I want to turn to you. Obviously, your football career, how long did you play in total? We know that you played for a couple of teams. How long was your career?
I played 8 years altogether, but I played in Europe and I played up in Canada.
And so it's 8 years totally.
Combined, totally.
Okay. So, obviously, you played with Lyle.
No.
That's right. But how did you get involved in writing a book about him? How did that all come about?
He was my best friend, like big brother.
Gotcha. And how did you guys first meet?
Well, we met at some NFL, functions that they had and stuff. And
okay. And you guys just hit it off.
We hit it off there. And then one night here in Las Vegas, when I was up here visiting, I was in a bar.
Okay.
Minding my own business. No, I was in a bar.
I was going to say.
And I ran into a couple friends that I went to high school with.
Really? Okay. And, you just happened to have been out here?
Just happened to be out here. And, I had a few cocktails. We all did.
Mm-hmm.
They asked if I'd give them a ride back to their hotel and drop them off. I said, sure. Went back to the car. This one guy, they locked me out of my car, basically. And there was a group of guys coming towards us. And I was like, oh, man, I'm going to die. Because I saw one guy had a knife, another guy had a club. And
oh, boy.
I was like, well, I'll take one of them out at least before I get taken out.
Right.
And, I tried to reason with him. It wasn't me. And at the last second, a guy came buzzing by me like a freight train, and it was Lyle.
Okay.
And so the fight was on. They
Wow.
ended up going to the hospital instead of me.
There you go.
And that solidified us, made us like brothers.
Right on. Very good. George, why don't you fire away with the question?
I've read the book a while ago, and I love the fact that you and Lyle were good friends and how you met. During your 8-year career, when did Canada come after the Bills and the Packers when you played in the NFL, or was that after?
Broke my neck in Buffalo.
Okay.
And so then I was being blackballed, and I had to prove I was healthy. So I went to Europe, came back to Canada, and played like it better in Europe, went back over to Europe for another year and came back to the Packers.
Wow.
I had Tom Fears is the one that got me in with Forrest Gregg.
Wow. Oh, Forrest
Gregg.
Wow.
They told me your career's over. You can't play anymore. And I go, well, I have the last 3 seasons
Right.
I played. And Ron Wolf said, you're through.
Wow.
And so I called Tom Fears. Fears said, well, hang on, stay by the phone. He called Forrest Gregg. Ron Wolf called me back within 30 minutes. Said, can you get on a flight tomorrow morning?
Wow. How cool is that?
So how many doctors did they have you look at and see? Now, I had a neck injury as well. They told me I was done. I had stenosis in my neck in that whole deal. Had an injury in that whole deal against San Diego in that whole deal. Then they came and they looked at the diagnosis and they said I had narrowing of the, the canal in my neck in that whole deal. And I had the possibility of being paralyzed if I get hit again in that whole deal. So how many doctors did they have you?
I went to quite a few doctors, and it was kind of funny when I first got hurt. I'd go into a doctor, and all at once I'd see 2 guys walking out with Buffalo Bill hats on. Like one time, I'm going, what the hell? It was kind of, And then the doctor, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
Is what he said then,
Sure.
And I was like, well, no, having a broken neck's not fine.
Sure.
Were
you making a tackle? Is that what you were
making a tackle?
Making a tackle.
Got hit. And Kenneth Ott down in San Diego did my neck. He was doing state-of-the-art work at the time, and he went through the back. That's why I've got the scar back here.
There, right.
He went through the back, cleaned me all up, fixed me all up instead of going through the front and fusing me.
Right.
Because then I'd be too weak to play.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
It took a full year to recuperate and came back, and then they were blackballing me. They tried to reinstate me.
Yeah. When
they couldn't reinstate me, they blackballed me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Same thing happened with me. It really did, because I wasn't feeling bad. I wasn't feeling the injury in that whole deal. But during the season, I got hurt, and they sat me out. And then all of a sudden, I come back. I go to spring ball. I'm doing fine. I'm having a great time in that whole deal. But I demanded. I wanted to get traded, and so I went up and talked with Dan Reese. Said I want to be traded. At that point, they said, "Well, what we're going to do is we're going to have you go and get another MRI, another X-rays, and look at and have the doctors evaluate it before we trade you." And I knew exactly what was getting ready to happen. I was getting ready to get blackballed, just like you, and that's exactly what happened.
I don't understand the blackball part.
Well, they tried to, like Buffalo tried to reinstate me when they said, no, you cut him while I was hurt. Well, our union wouldn't let me go back.
Right, sure.
And so then all at once, he's too screwed up to play.
Right, absolutely.
So I had to go to Europe and I had to go to Canada to prove I wasn't.
Right. Wow.
And then I came back, and Tom Fears, who had signed me with the LA Express, talked me into going there.
The LA Express.
Yeah, he goes, no, you want to play for us here. Him and George Dixon. And when George Dixon got let go, he was a linebacker coach. Okay. All the guys they brought in got let go. And so Tom felt like he owed me something, and that's why he called Forrest Gregg.
Cool. Gotcha.
Besides him being a great guy.
There you go.
And of course, now with medical technology being so different when you played and when you played, do you think if back then for both of you, because you had to stop because of injury as well, do you think things would have been different if the medical abilities of doctors today was back then, that you could have played without going through all of that?
I do. I feel like the technology today is so micro. I mean, they can do anything. They can take a needle, a piece of thread, man, and do things with that thread and that whole deal as far as your neck is concerned.
Right.
Now. And that whole deal, they don't mess with nerves. They won't mess up nerves and that whole deal. So yes, technology, man, is quantum leaped.
Okay.
It really has.
Now the mental aspect,
right?
Especially with what happened the other night, the mental aspect. Let's say the doctor says, "Oh yeah, you guys are cleared to play." Would the mental aspect have been any different, or would you have had that hesitation, or would you have been just full blown. Let's go do it. They said,
I couldn't wait to get out on the field. And then once I got on the field, it was like, I'm on the field. Is my head going to roll on?
Right.
Because my arm and my shoulder was numb and I couldn't feel anything. And I'm going, what's going to happen when I hit this guy?
Yeah.
But when I wore a pair of Donzi pads.
Sure.
And when I hit the first guy,
that was it.
That was it.
Did you wear the neck roll?
Yeah, I was back in the saddle.
Yeah.
Right. And you
Cool.
don't see many
There you
guys
are.
wearing the neck rolls anymore.
Not at all.
Not really.
Mm-mm.
You don't see very many guys hitting anymore.
Well, the thing about it, guys
Right.
aren't.
That's
Remember,
a whole nother.
remember, you can't lead with the head anymore.
Right.
You can't lead with the crown.
Right.
And that whole deal. And that's why a lot of the guys were wearing those neck rolls, because once again, when you hit and you do
It's
this, that
softened.
next steps back, and then you got some problems.
On that note, we're going to step aside for our first break already. Can you believe it?
Already?
We are ready for
Oh
our
my
first
goodness.
break.
We haven't even talked about anything.
I want,
Jeez.
I want to thank our advertisers, Planet Harvest Health, for all your CBD needs for stress. If you want seasonings, whatever, coffees, we have some stuff up here. We'll hear about True IQ. We'll hear about The Secret, although we keep asking what The Secret is, and we keep hearing it's a secret. So I feel like an Abbott and Costello
secret.
routine. So we'll be back. Please pay attention to our sponsors. We'll be back right after this.
Yes.
Anxiety, depression, PTSD, ADHD, pain, inflammation, dealing with mental or physical health issues, or know someone who is? Relax, refresh, recover, revive. Natural health alternatives using hemp-derived CBD and other cannabinoids found in hemp are increasingly becoming more effective in managing various symptoms that affect your body, state of mind, and daily life. Planet Harvest Health's mission is to help those looking for natural, new, and better solutions for a healthier way of life, specializing in small batch, handcrafted alternatives, providing higher quality and a cost-effective product. Go to planetharvesthealth.com for more information and education on how we can help you.
In between the heartbeats,
Isn't that-
that's what
This is the story of one man's incredible journey from 350 to 200-pound weight loss and his mission to help and inspire others. Aaron Phillips. People are praising Aaron's new book with 5-star reviews. Aaron's various humorous and wildly entertaining stories portray his rise as a sports announcer, his encounters with exotic and irregular entertainers on the Las Vegas Strip through his long-running Vegas Unwrapped radio show, and his contagious and positive style of pursuing success. Call now or visit our website or Amazon now to get your copy of Let My Voice Speak to You, stories from a Hall of Fame radio personality. Order now.
If me and King Kong went into an alley, only one of us would come out. And I guarantee you it wouldn't be that damn monkey, Lyle Alzado.
All right. Well, welcome back. If you see us laughing like that, it's because we think our producer is going through some fits back there, but it's his
Fake
way of letting
laughing.
us know we're back. So, all right. So with that,
We're
let's
tossing the laptop. Are you throwing it out?
Oh, that's right. I'm tossing the I'm handing
Tossing
it
the
off.
laptop.
See, I'm handing it. See what I did there? Handing
Hand
it off.
it off. Football term.
Don't try this at home, folks. I am not a professional.
Right.
So let's get into it a little bit. You guys let's talk about Monday night, because we were just kind of on the heels of that, because that's injury related. You guys went through injuries, but obviously not to the extent of this. I want to kind of delve into, because this is something we've been talking about a lot here, and that's mental health and mental wellness and all of that. You know, being someone who's connected to the Buffalo Bills, obviously. Mentally, what is the state from someone who maybe has a little inside feel of what the team is going through after what happened Monday night? Because they have a big game this weekend, aside from the game that they had to suspend. Where do you think the team is right now mentally?
It's going to affect them because it's affecting me just thinking about it. You know, I mean, it's never happened before.
Right.
To a player.
Well, it's never happened in football, but it has happened in other sports where, and the one that comes to mind for me is in wrestling. Jerry the King Lawler was on commentary live on Raw, their show, and he had a heart attack 2 years ago, and right there live on the show. But yes, it is the first time in football, right?
No.
It's not in football?
71.
No, you had Mr. Hughes up there in Detroit, who actually passed away, and you had Daryl Stingley. That with the neck injury and that whole deal, he was completely out. They had to immediately get out there and get him into surgery.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So is this situation, what happened to DeMar, any different than that? Other than he died on the field, apparently, yes, because they had to give him CPR and they had to use the resuscitator.
No, it's not different, because once again, he was doing this job.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying the injury itself. I'm
Right.
talking about the aftercare.
Oh,
I mean,
the
it's-
aftercare has to be the same
Right.
with Daryl
Okay.
because once again he was paralyzed.
Okay.
And so they had to assist him as far as his breathing was concerned in that
Okay.
whole deal and stabilize his neck so that it didn't move anymore in that whole deal. So he was in a crisis.
Gotcha.
While he was laying out there on the field, and Mr. Hughes, he ended up just passing away. So obviously they were just as bad as this one.
And of course, the equipment at that time was nothing like the extra equipment that
Well,
you see the guys today wear,
Not
right?
even so much the equipment, because the equipment can only do so,
So
much
right?
in that whole deal. It's the physicality of the game. People say, man, you got hit. And I look at them, I'm just like, I hit you. I hit you. I want to show you a collision. Stand over there, let me run, and both of us run, and we do this. Inertia comes into effect.
Right.
Something's going to give.
Right.
In that whole deal. So I tell people these are collisions.
Right.
These are not hits at all.
Oh,
So
yeah.
change your your verbiage as far as that stuff is concerned, because every time we hit each other in that whole deal, our bodies is like running into a wall.
Okay.
You were always trying to drive through the person.
Absolutely.
You weren't, absorbing the hit.
Right.
You were
wanted to
trying
give
to, like,
the hit.
if I hit you here, I was hitting you back there.
Right. I go through them. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
And remember the rules were different.
Mhm.
I remember Tommy Jackson came out with a segment during Monday Night Football with Chris
With
Berman
Boomer.
and that whole deal, with Boomer and that whole deal called Jacked Up. And they were showing all the hits that
Of
were
the
going
previous
on in that whole
weekend.
deal.
Like that
Yeah.
stuff.
And they ended up stopping it. They said that's too violent. We don't want that type of violence out there on the field. But that's what we went through. Remember, the
Sure.
rules were totally different.
Absolutely.
And so we had to endure that, and we're paying for it today.
Right.
So once again, being the guinea pig is helping these young people to extend their careers and also make a lot of money, and also, man, to go home safe.
Right.
One thing that was today amazing when I guess Damar Hamlin, when he came out of the coma, and he's not able to talk, he's got the tube, but he was able to communicate by writing, and he asked, did we win the game? Did we win? So even him being laid out like that and dying on the football field and being brought back, he wanted to know if we won the game. And his mentality was just, again, when you have an injury in the field and you see the player give the thumbs up, the game goes on, everybody's happier. I think he probably, as a player, you want to keep the game going. But in this particular case, you couldn't have done it. The players were just too mentally out of it and distraught at that point. And what do you think is going to happen now? How do you think they're going to move forward with this, with affecting the playoffs, and both teams, the Bills and the Bengals, have this? How are they going to make up this game, you think, or you think they're just going to try to find another way to?
I think they're going to make. I think they have to make that.
Yeah, they do.
That whole deal. In fairness, as far as the playoffs are concerned, that whole deal. But what we got to realize and understand that now today, with everything that they have, people don't realize they now have sensors in the helmet to understand the impact. They have sensors on the shoulder pads so that they can, man, get all that data. And so then they can research that data, man, and make the game safer, guys. That's what they're doing in that whole deal.
Well, how much safer can you make it? I mean, this is a violent sport. I mean, I played in high school and a little bit in college, but we like watching this stuff. We like watching this sport. It's the number one sport in the world. We like to see the collisions and the tackles and the flips over when he gets tackled. I mean, how much safer can they do it without turning it into flag football or two-hand touch?
They're trying to get rid of a lot of collisions. They don't want people hitting the way they used to back in our days.
So how do you do? What are you going to do when you're trying to take down a 250-pound running back? You got to hit him.
They want you wrapping them up
Right.
and taking them down.
Yeah, it's not tackle. It's not tackle anymore. And this is all filtering down, guys, down to Pop Warner football. It's not up here. It's going all the way down to Pop Warner football, because as long as you don't have these kids down here wanting to grow up and be a professional football player, now you're not going to have any more players. You're not going to have it. They'll be going to soccer. They'll be going to pickleball. They'll be going to tennis and all kinds of other things now, because mom said, I don't want my son looking like that guy sitting in the corner sucking on a straw.
So what's going to happen with the sport itself over the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years?
Well, look at what they're doing with the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl, they're not doing. When we went to the Pro Bowl, man, we couldn't wait till the fourth quarter because we could knock each other out. We did, because we wanted that extra pay.
Mhm.
Now these guys are going out and doing different type
Two-hand
of
touch, they're touching, and then
Well,
like
it's a skills
flag.
competition.
skills
now.
competition now.
Well, now, last year we went to the Pro Bowl. My Denise's son and I went to the Pro Bowl.
Mhm.
I remember him just, man, they're not even tackling. That's the first thing he said. In the last 10 years or so, they're not. They're just kind of winging it and just kind of throwing each other down. In the old days, Pro Bowl, man, they were still playing it as if it
Fourth
was
quarter, man.
Yeah.
We want that money, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we're at the Pro Bowl now is going to be just like a skills competition with fun and all, but it's just not the Pro Bowl anymore.
No, it's not
a
football.
game. It's not a game.
Yeah.
That's what. And I was out at the Pro Bowl in Hawaii in 2009.
Mhm.
I was on a show and I got to be on the sideline taking pictures and stuff.
Did you
and-
have to say that because Denise wanted me to take her to Hawaii for that?
That's okay, but unfortunately, it's not in Hawaii anymore.
Nope, it's here.
But it even in 2009, it was still at the time when the guys were playing.
Yeah.
That's it. Notice how I stretched it out. They were kind of playing. And then, of course, it's like the baseball all-star game. As the other players start getting in, now things get a little looser. The NBA all-star game is a joke because it's all about points. But I think it is all about the safety now. I agree with that. However, it's not the same. I mean, the Pro Bowl just is not what it was.
Well,
and I realize things change over years.
Well, you have to make those adjustments, gang. Like I said, for myself, even for myself, I told him, I says, hey, my neck is messed up because you guys, man, tried to use me as a nail.
Yeah.
And you were the hammer in that whole deal.
Yeah.
That was totally physical. I'm not
Right.
that big. I was only 170 pounds.
Well, here's a question.
Physical.
But you were great.
Yes.
Well,
You
I
should
was
be in the
scared.
Hall of Fame.
That's why he ran so fast. That's why he ran so fast. What would Lyle say about the NFL today?
He wouldn't like it
You wouldn't like it at all.
at all.
No.
Because he can't unleash. He can't let that fury out.
Right.
And that whole deal. And that's what he
he was
thrived
about.
on.
Yeah.
In practice, that's what he thrived on. Him and Claudia be over there fighting dust like two big buffaloes and that whole deal. Who's gonna step in the middle of that type of stuff? That's what they wanted on Sunday. They want that physicality. They want to find out mano a mano who's the best in
Right.
that whole deal. Now, again, it's about butts in the seats, and it's about, man, making that money.
We have someone in the chat room. His name is Bill Knott, who follows some of the shows that we do here. He puts a comment in here that says they are worth too much money these days. Does the riches and monies and contracts?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Why not?
And like I said, what just happened the other day?
Right.
The kid, man, almost lost his life. What happened with Daryl Stingley? He almost lost his life. What happened with Mr. Hughes? He lost his life.
Well,
Folks, are you serious?
Well, I think he's referring to why some of the like the Pro Bowl now.
Right.
It's not a game. They're backing down from the physical confrontation, right? The physicality of the show. And I'm thinking that's kind of what he might be alluding to, is that
I
in a
think
game
that's
like
what
the
he
Pro Bowl,
Right.
they're getting rid of the physical contact because the players' health and everything is there's too much investment for the players at a Pro Bowl game to risk injury. I think that's what he might be alluding
Well,
to.
I
That's
wish,
what
they
I
would,
thought it was.
I wish they would have said that back in 1982, 1979, 1980. Hey, man, I wish they would have said the same thing because, like I said, it's all changed. We weren't even making the type of money that they're making right now. So, and we went through the physicality of it.
But see, that's the mindset of you guys. Didn't make the money that they're making today, but the passion was more, I think, in the past players than it is today. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm
well,
sure
it's not so much the passion, George. It was that we weren't making any money. We were trying to get to the playoffs so that we could get those extra checks. Because once again, I was a fourth round draft choice, $25,000 signing bonus, but then I go 30, 35, 40. Today, if you're a fourth round draft choice, you don't get less than $650,000.
Right.
So that's the difference.
$40,000 a year, $5,000 signing bonus. First year with Buffalo.
Yeah. So it's the money aspect of it right now.
Because more money is available today because of TV and merchandising and sponsors and selling corporate seats. I mean, look what happened when they opened up Allegiant Stadium, right? To get the PECL side. What letter it is? $40,000 just to get on the list to hope that sort of thing. So so there you're talking about inside with the greed factor because there's more money coming in.
Yes.
I just want to let everybody know, thank you for tuning in to the Roundtable. You are watching us for the first time on Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV. You can follow us here on Facebook, WWDBTV.com, YouTube, websites. We're all over the place. Of course, sitting to my right is Rick Upchurch. My far right, the man simply known as the G-Man, George Miklos, and our special in-studio guest to kick off our debut here is the author of this book, Lyle Alzado's Nobody's Invincible, number 77. Of course, the author, Mr. Jim Duffner, joins us here live in studio. So I want to now, let's switch into the book a little bit, as I want to kick into that. So, longtime friend, Lyle, you shared the story early on about how we basically saved your butt that night when here in Vegas. What was it? What inspired you to write a book? Let's talk about that. What was the aha moment?
I made a promise to Lyle.
Okay.
That I would write it. You know, and he gave me pictures and stuff. He said if he wasn't around, he wanted me to write it.
Okay.
And I went, Lyle, I'm not a writer. How am I going to write it? And he goes, tell the truth and write it from your heart.
Okay.
Which I did. And he gave me, pictures to put in it. And he just, I kind of put it on the shelf for a long time, thinking, I heard that his new wife was going to do a film and write a book and stuff. So I put it on the shelf.
Okay.
And nothing happened. And it started coming to me. How could she? Because she didn't even know him. She was with him the whole time he was sick, and that was about it.
Right. I'm going to ask our producer. I was just going to say, we have some pictures that you shared with us that we're going to put up on the screen. They're going to be up in the corner. Let's see if I can do this like the weather person does. Right.
Hey, yeah.
There over my head with some of the pictures and stuff that Jim shared with us. So is this a matter of you realize that the mantle was not being carried by his wife because of the timing of when they were together?
Well, a few things happened too. I was thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was playing real heavy on my mind. And I kept saying, how can I write a book?
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do?
Right.
And I went to Caesar's Palace, and I was walking down a corridor, and a guy walked up to me out of the blue, never met him before, never seen him before. And he goes, can I ask you a couple questions? And I said, sure. And he goes, does Buffalo mean anything to you? And I said, yeah, I played with the Bills. And he goes, what about the number 77? And I went, that was my old roommate, Lyle Alzado. And he started talking to me about Lyle for a few minutes. And then he goes, he just asked me, he goes, are you religious? And I go, yeah, I believe in God. I owe everything, to him.
Sure.
And the guy goes, well, I'm an ordained minister, and I've got a message for you from God. He said, you've got one last ride. And I was kind of like, I hope it's not on my motorcycle. He gave me his card, and he left. And then I kept thinking about the book and thinking about it. And I was in the jewelers here in Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and a lady started talking to me out of the blue. We were just talking back and forth. She was waiting for some jewelry, and she said, I don't know why I've got the strongest urge to tell you this, but you've got one last ride.
Same thing.
Same thing.
And how long was this after?
This was within a week.
Wow.
And then right after that, I was meeting my aunt at Outback, and I was standing in the parking lot waiting for her to park her car when this guy came walking by, and he was, had a cane. He stopped, and he goes, is that real? He was talking about my hat because it was an NFL alumni hat. And I said, yes, it is. And he goes, my old college roommate gave me one just like it, when he played for Denver. And I said, who, Lyle? And the guy just said, how'd you know? Lyle Alzado was his college roommate who I'd never seen before, never knew him. And then I went, okay, I've got to write this book.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
3 messages. And what was the time frame when that third one came in?
It was within 4 days of the lady saying that, and then it just cemented.
So within 10 days, you got these 3 messages.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And I went, it's time to write it.
They couldn't give you what numbers to play in the casino too?
I wish they had.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, listen, it's a great thing you did. I'm not taking it, but listen, give me a couple of numbers. Tell me black, red, something. Let's.
How long did it take you to put the book? How long did it take you to put the book together?
It took quite a while. It was like therapy going through it and stuff, and writing it and sending it. And I sent it into a friend. I guess it's his niece, who was a professor and a writer, and she read it, and she, goes, "Where'd you learn how to write? Did you go to college to learn how to write?" And I said, "No." You've got a unique style. And she goes, I really like your style.
Well,
and
I can't wait to get into the book, and I thank you for bringing a couple of copies. Old style book, I will say, because it is not softback. It is a hardback book, which is great. It is available on Amazon, yes?
Yes.
And is that the only place that
No,
they
you
can
can
pick
get
it
it in bookstores.
Okay. And again, it's called The Lyle Alzado Story, Nobody's Invincible. Listen, it's fun. So you wrote this on your own. You sat down in front of a computer and started writing?
Wrote it on my own.
So-
Thanks to, I spoke into the computer, put
Of
it
course.
that way.
No, but
Drag
it
it,
was you putting it together. So here's a funny thing. Now, you obviously knew Lyle for so many years. So
Right.
you were writing a book about your experiences, relationship with the man that was part of your life, right? I wrote my own book. I do use a ghostwriter because if I
Right.
wrote my own book, it would be 2 pages long and it would be a comic book. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I admire the fact that you were able to take all of the energy, and like you said, it was almost like catharsis for you to get it out of your system to write. And again, I'm sure it's a very powerful book, and I'm excited to get
It
into
is.
it.
It's a great book.
So it's just kind of great that you were able to pour from those experiences and the history. Was there anything in writing the book? So in total, how long did you know Lyle? How many years?
I know him for quite a while.
30, 35 years? I mean,
Good 20 years.
okay. Was there anything that you put in the book because of experience that you learned or forgot about that surprised you, like, oh my God, I didn't realize about a Lyle, or some other stuff
Well,
had
there was
popped in
a
that you
lot of
forgot
stuff
about,
that I
right?
put in there, and then I, just went, wow, where'd that come from?
Right.
But I just, wrote it from the heart.
That's it.
Well,
Try
it's
to
like,
tell the truth.
it's like you said, Lyle said, just tell the truth and write it from your heart. And that's where the best writing comes from, is from inside.
Right.
And the thing about it, Lyle had that guilt on him in that whole deal.
Right.
And so I'm sure through you, Jim, he says, I want to get this right.
Mm-hmm.
He said, because I lied. I didn't tell the truth in that whole deal. Because I remember when he was in Denver in that whole deal,
Right.
I looked at his ass, man, and I said, Lyle, what is that on your butt in that whole deal? And he didn't say anything. He
Size of a baseball.
Yeah, he just walked away and walked around. I said, man, I'm not trying to be funny with you at all, bro. You know what I'm saying? In that whole deal. But I said, what is that? Because I knew nothing about steroids and all that type of stuff in that whole deal.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't doing no human growth hormones at that time. He was doing just the steroids in that whole deal to keep when we get injured, it would help him come back quicker in that whole deal. But later on in his life, in that whole deal, Ray May, who was a great friend of his out in California as well, in that whole deal, Ray went over to his wife's house. She was crying.
Mm-hmm.
She was crying. He said, Ray, can you come over here, please? Went over to his house, man, and that day she took him downstairs. He had a whole cabinet that he had gotten from Mexico of human growth hormones and that deal that he was using. And that's when Ray got at him and said, Lyle, you have to stop that.
Right.
You have to stop it.
Okay. Well, did he obviously?
Well, he got on the human growth hormone when he tried his comeback for the first time.
Right.
And I helped pay for it.
Yeah.
Jeff Fahey and I, it's the only time Lyle got mad at me.
I got you.
He asked if I would, loan him some money, and I said, sure. And then I went down to San Diego because he hadn't said anything else to me to see my parents. Came back up to LA, and I had 3 guys call me, what'd you do to the big guy? He's pissed. No, nothing. And then I got a message from Lyle, and I called him back and said, Lyle, what's going on? He's yelling and screaming at me. And I said, what's up? And he goes, you shouldn't have told me you'd loan it to me if you weren't. And I said, I will. You never said anything else to me about it.
Right.
And he goes, oh, okay. Well, I only need half of it now.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But
Now, as I read the bio, and again, this information you read on the internet is only as good as the person that puts it up there. So you're probably an authority that can address this more than anything. There was a lymphoma that was found on his brain. Yes.
yes.
So I guess from an official standpoint of death certificate, is that what they put on there, dying from cancer?
Well, what he had a rare form of lymphoma.
Okay.
That there were only 13 cases in the United States.
Wow.
And like 11 or 12 of the 13 were on HGH.
Okay.
And over in East Germany, a lot of people have died of that type of cancer.
Okay.
And so that's what they put on there.
So they're saying the controversy is they're not sure if it's connected, but there's the consistency does raise a question. Yes.
It does.
Was there, and again, I asked this question rhetorically, do we know, or does anybody know, if he had that lymphoma prior to starting on the steroids? And I just asked that.
Well, everybody's got cancer cells in their body.
Somewhere, right?
And you never know what it's going to take to kick them off.
Okay.
And in his case, he was on steroids for so many years that they felt that when he got on the HGH, it kicked off some cancer cells.
Gotcha.
And that's where he got it.
Because I remember, obviously when as I watched football, I watched him primarily. I barely remember him with the Broncos. Remember him spending a little time with the Browns. But of course, people really, I think this is why you did it in black and silver, because I think most people, because of the way he played, the Raiders took everybody in at that time, that he was remembered most as a Raider more significantly, I would think.
And he got a ring out of it.
And he got a ring out of it.
Right.
Unless you're a Bronco fan.
Well,
because in Denver, he was huge.
He was a god. I mean, he was a god.
Right.
I mean, he would go up to children's hospitals.
Right.
He would give toys out to them. They would go to senior citizens' homes.
Mm-hmm.
His heart, man, was bigger than this world. That's for sure. Just the nicest, soft-spoken person, man, in that whole deal. But once he put that uniform on, man, he raged.
Right.
He really did.
Right.
Now,
It flipped the switch.
It's been about 30 years now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think has his legacy been affected because of that? I mean, when you say the name Lyle Alzado, a lot of people, oh yeah, he was wild and crazy and the steroid guy. How do you think now, 30 years later, that affects his legacy?
Well, I don't, if you really know, because back then everybody was on steroids.
Sure,
And he was quoted in that, yes.
Right.
Like hundreds of guys he knew.
Yeah.
Everybody was.
Right.
And it's just it's like they're taking HGH and steroids now.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, using masking drugs and stuff like he did.
Right.
He did, masking drug before he tried his comeback because he didn't want to tarnish his career.
Right.
But remember, those steroids that he was taking before the HGH, those were to help him heal.
Right.
The HGH was to help him be stronger and to perform.
Right.
There was a total difference.
Gotcha. Well, it's too bad he didn't have true IQ or the secret to help him feel better.
Yeah.
See what I did there? It's a segue.
I like how you
he
did
didn't
that.
have the secret.
He didn't have the secret.
Right.
The thing that made me real proud about this book was his ex-wife and his son both contacted me.
Yep.
And they said it would have made Lyle real proud to read
Well, that's
this.
great.
And it was a great book.
Now, books
They
like,
thanked me.
I'm sorry, I think you mentioned this earlier with his wife. Stories like this, though, tend to make it to a screen somewhere, whether it's a big screen or the TV screen. Is there talks about taking your book and going further with it?
Talked to a couple producers about it.
Who would you like to see star as Lyle besides George?
The only
I'll play a coach in the film. I don't have to play Lyle, but
I don't
play
know,
a coach
George.
or a
I mean,
trainer.
I'm trying to think of somebody who's charismatic and big.
I'm thinking of
Rock.
I'm thinking of Rock. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking of the Rock, man. Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Put some
that's
hair on
not a
it,
bad. That's not.
Because he was big and
He's
he's
not
charismatic. And
Yeah.
it's like, I mean,
He can look that way.
Lyle would walk into a room, any room, with I don't care who else is in there, the president or Clint Eastwood or whoever, and all heads would turn to Lyle.
Right.
Yeah, and Lyle will tell you. He says, I'm the biggest, baddest football player, man, that you've ever met.
Right.
I don't give a dang about who you're talking about in
Right.
that whole deal. I just sat back and said, hey, man, I'm going to play lion and the mouse with you, okay?
Yeah, I'm not going to
I
argue
want
with you.
to protect me, bro.
Exactly.
You know, when we out here getting into a fight,
Exactly.
I hope you got my back, big fella.
I'm not asking for a role, but I'm asking for an audition if it ever happens.
I want a
Anything.
voiceover
coach,
role.
Trainer, the guy in the 7-Eleven when he walks in to buy something, anything.
Be one of the guys that was approaching him in the parking lot.
Right? Yeah, that would be awesome. Come on,
Right, exactly.
yeah.
I'll just take a voiceover role.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
That's all. Just give me a voiceover role. So May 14th, 1992 was the day he passed. So it's just 30 years and a
just
change.
almost.
I do remember when the news
Over.
broke, when he passed away, and the subsequent stories prior to him passing about how his health diminished and physically how he just diminished to the point of where he passed. And even with the shadow of steroids at the time he passed, there was still a beloved feeling towards him in and around the controversy of steroids. Was that a feeling you got at the time?
Yeah. I mean, let me share a couple quick
Please.
things.
Yeah.
Lyle was sick. He was real sick. And I
Mhm.
was driving him to Dr. Hunzinger's office.
Okay.
To get, to have him checked out and stuff. And it broke across the radio that Magic Johnson had AIDS.
I remember
And when he
day
heard
too.
that, he started crying.
Mm.
And I said, Lyle, what? Why are you crying? And he goes, I've got it. He goes, I can make it. He can't. And that's always stuck with me.
Mm.
And
That's true. That's
I got another story for
Yeah.
you if you want to hear it, man.
Absolutely.
I remember.
before we go to break.
Yeah, I remember Lyle, man, in practice, man. One time he got in a fight with one of the guys and that whole deal, right? And let me tell you something, he beat the stuffings out of him.
I have no doubt.
And beat it. I'm talking about threw him into the weights, took some weights and hit him with it. I just pounded him up, man. The kid said, okay, that's how you want to do this, Lyle? I'm going to go home. He walked all the way to Montbello from 58th Street, all the way out to Montbello, caught a cab, came back with his 9mm, kicked the door in and that whole deal. Now, mind me, Lyle's sitting in the front row, right? He's sitting right there in the front row. He can't see him in that whole deal. And he says, where's Lyle at? He says, I'm killing that MFer. I'm killing him today. And we're like, what? Everybody hits the floor, man. They turn on the light. Everybody hits the floor. Lyle, man, runs out. He runs out of the room, man, in that whole deal. He's got the gun. Mario's got this kid's got the gun, man. And he's like, man, I'm not putting it down until I kill him. And you could see it in his eyes, man. 24 hours. Within 24 hours, they traded him. That's how Haven Moses came to Denver from Buffalo and that whole deal, because they had to trade him out of there because he was not going to let Lyle live. He wasn't. Yeah. Wow. Serious stuff, man.
Talk about
we were sitting there going, what the heck?
Yeah, what do you do in that circumstance?
Oh, dude. Hey, hit the floor.
Exactly.
That's all you can do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
be like Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, that was the big story that was going on in Denver at that time.
Wow.
Let me put a break on it right there, because we do have to step aside for a final break of the show already. You are all watching the roundtable. There's nothing better than this show right now, where you have the experience of two former NFL players talking about a man who in his own right was a great NFL player in the story that became public 30 years ago. That is G-Man. That is Jim. That is Mr. Upchurch. I'm Aaron. Don't go anywhere. We still got more to come.
We need
right
2 hours.
Yeah.
We need more spots.
This is the story of one man's incredible journey from 350 to 200-pound weight loss and his mission to help and inspire others. Aaron Phillips. People are praising Aaron's new book with 5-star reviews. Aaron's various humorous and wildly entertaining stories portray his rise as a sports announcer, his encounters with exotic and irregular entertainers on the Las Vegas Strip through his long-running Vegas Unwrapped radio show, and his contagious and positive style of pursuing success. Call now or visit our website or Amazon now to get your copy of Let My Voice Speak to You, stories from a Hall of Fame radio personality. Order now.
Anxiety, depression, PTSD, ADHD, pain, inflammation, dealing with mental or physical health issues, or know someone who is? Relax, refresh, recover, revive. Natural health alternatives using hemp-derived CBD and other cannabinoids found in hemp are increasingly becoming more effective in managing various symptoms that affect your body, state of mind, and daily life. Planet Harvest Health's mission is to help those looking for natural, new, and better solutions for a healthier way of life, specializing in small batch, handcrafted alternatives, providing higher quality and a cost-effective product. Go to planetharvesthealth.com for more information and education on how we can help you.
That'd be awesome.
All right.
Hey, we're back. Welcome.
Hey, what's
to where are we? Oh, we're at the round table here at Worldwide Digital Broadcasting
The round
TV.
table.
We thank you all for tuning in. By the way, we still have about another 12 minutes or so to go, so you have time to give us a call and join the conversation. You can ask anybody a question, whatever you'd like. 702-992-3207. Special shout out to our advertiser, Planet Harvest Health, James and Billy down in Texas. We want to thank you. Check them out, planetharvesthealth.com, for all your CBD needs, seasonings, coffee. Real quickly in 15 seconds, George, True IQ, what's it about?
True IQ.
Sorry, time's up, but thank you for
That
I'm
was
only
it.
kidding. I'm only kidding.
When I was first approached to doing this show about a year ago now.
Yeah.
But I was 285 pounds. I was out of shape, had sat around during COVID eating pizza and cheeseburgers. I didn't feel worthy enough to do the show with Rick and Aaron being in the shape I was in. Yes. So what I did is I started this product. My wife introduced me to it. I had my arms folded. I wasn't too thrilled. Started using the product Micro. I lost 45 pounds in 3 months. Also a lot of hard work. I was working the NFL draft, and I worked the Pro Bowl 16-hour days. So I was exercising, walking 20,000 steps a day, 5-10 miles. Lost all that weight because of Micro. I also use CBX4. It's a drop that General Health. You just put it in your mouth in the morning or at night, and it keeps you going. helps with depression, heart issues, other stuff like that.
And where can people get information?
They can get information from me. You just go to trueiqglobal.com/20316. Boom.
Or email you to make it easier if they can't remember.
Yeah, you can email
whatever.
gmanbmanshow@yahoo.com, but it's on our website. You can go to my Facebook page, George Miklos, Miklos. You'll find out all that information.
There you go. All right, it's a new year, Mr.
Yes,
Rick,
sir.
and I want to know about the secret. Will you please tell us the secret,
The
please?
secret is that we can give you the best looking skin. We can give you the best health that you can possibly want, and we can get you on a trip basically free.
So talk
our
about what you have
company.
up front here.
Well, what I have up front here, I'm in two different networking
Mhm.
businesses and that whole deal.
Mhm.
The one that I have right here is called 7K Metals. I'm into silver and gold. When you look at our currency, when you look at our fiat money, that dollar that you have in your hand might be worth maybe 5 cents. Because I can go down to a store and with one of my coins that I have in that whole deal, I can buy five gallons of milk.
Okay.
I take that same dollar and go down to the store, whether it be Walmart or the dollar store, and try to get a gallon or a half gallon of milk. I can't do
That's
it.
right.
So we got to understand and how, man, our economy and our currency is starting to change, not just here in America, but worldwide. And 7K educates you on how to build your portfolio and generational wealth with silver, gold, and precious metals.
So if you want the secret to healthy skin and healthy lifestyle and a healthy bank account, how can people reach you?
They can reach me upchurchnfl@aol.com.
There you go.
You just get me.
I want to let everybody know in 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks from tonight, we have a special show lined up where all of our sponsors, you guys and Planet Harvest Health, we're going to dedicate a segment of each of that show for everybody to really spend some time talking about their products.
Cool.
And if you all are kind enough to leave at least 2 minutes left over, I'll even pitch in talking about my book. But
The voice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The voice,
But
man.
how, well,
The
but
voice.
let's put it in perspective. It's how I went from 354 pounds to 212 pounds prior to the pandemic. And the COVID-19 has given me the COVID-20, which I'm fighting to get back off.
Well, and that's why I didn't
I'm
want
still
to do
down-
the show, because of how well you've done, how well you did with your health.
Well, I
And
appreciate
sitting
that.
next to Rick, I had to do something, so I did. I dropped it all.
Well, you could have just went sideways.
Right.
You could have also called in. But the main thing we were talking about tonight is this. Oh, look at that. He switched cameras for the first time tonight.
I like it.
Oh,
yeah.
Lyle
Lyle Alzado
Alzado, I
story.
like it. Woo, baby.
I feel bad wearing a Giants hat when I'm talking about Lyle Alzado. Anyway, the Lyle Alzado story, Nobody's Invincible, written by our guest here in studio, Jim Duffner. You can find the book on Amazon, and it's even a hard copy book, folks. When was the last time you had a hard copy book?
Bookstores too.
Huh? And it's in stores, yes. Which bookstore? Barnes & Noble?
Barnes and Noble.
There, and it's on Amazon, so just look up the title, or Jim Duffner, Duffner. It might be under James Duffner, Duffner, none the same. So again, great stuff. Again, I can't wait to get into the book and really delve into the life of Lyle through your eyes, and that's something I'm looking forward to. So,
Oh, real quick for our producer, John, I need a close up.
he doesn't have a. Oh wait, he's going to move the camera. What do you need a
Oh,
close-up
that's
for?
what he's. Oh, he can't be.
Here's
Oh.
why. Here's why. Because we had a little issue here in the studio with the third camera.
Oh,
So we're waiting for it to come back from the repair shop next week.
that's why.
So
They
now
just want him to
so-
see his good looks, man. That's all, man.
I just want to
That's
see a
it. Well,
close up.
well, John, he just came out from behind his perch back
He
there.
did.
There you go. So look into the
All
camera.
right.
I'm so
Who is
sorry.
that
I'm
guy?
so sorry, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
yeah, me too, man. Hey, how long have we had that problem, man?
That's right. 4 months now.
Probably losing my license.
There you go. It's over.
Listen, prior to this video stuff, I used to tell people I had a face for radio. Now I can't even say that anymore.
Right.
Jeez Louise. Plus, Jim, I don't know if you probably know this. He ran for president a couple of years back.
I know he did.
And
Yes.
I had the privilege of interviewing him. And right after that interview, my station and show got shut
It
down.
did.
I don't know why.
It was great.
You can find that to be a actually, JPEG was on
He was
video
there.
camera
He was
videoing
in-
that
no,
thing.
no, he was in the studio.
Right, he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
videoing it for us.
Yeah.
That's right. He was running the camera.
That's
Now,
right.
you can only tell so many false things. People start to catch on.
That's
They tell
right.
like,
Well, especially with me. So
yeah,
they-
man.
That's
that's why I didn't make it on the ballot in every state.
You said that you long jumped 29 feet. Only one person that did that. And
That's
that was
it.
Bob Beeman.
That's right.
Yes. What are you?
He went 2.9
Wired,
centimeters.
right.
He got the
2.9.
decimal in the wrong
Yeah,
spot.
29 feet.
Wrong spot.
Right.
That's where it was. So anyway, Listen, folks, this is kind of fun and goofy stuff we get into, but tonight's topic was really a great topic to talk about. A great football player from a man who's known him for 20 plus years, like a brother, someone who played on the same football field with him, two guys who watched him play as a fan perspective. And of course, from a standpoint, a sad ending to a story because of how it got there. But yet today, I think if we reflect back on it 30 years ago, would it be safe to say that he started bringing out the problem to the public eye of what steroids can do, Jim? Yes?
Yes, he did.
He was a pioneer in a way because of that.
Yeah.
And he started talking about not doing it when he was able enough to go out to talk in groups, yes?
The most important thing to him was making it in the Hall of Fame. And then when he got sick, and he accepted the Lord, his most important thing to him then was helping kids.
Making it right.
Absolutely.
Keeping them from making the same mistakes he made.
Absolutely. Right. So in a way, the legacy is still protected, but in a different direction. Sure. And that, I think, is really the important message. Like we talked about after Monday night's incident, it's about the people, not so much the game.
That's right.
And I think with what Lyle did, helping the kids and get the message out, that's really, I think, the important part besides what
the
he did
human
on
side.
The human side.
Right.
Which, by the way, I have some friends, they messaged me through Facebook that apparently both teams, both the Bengals and the Bills, have no interest in resuming the game or replaying the game. So that just came across from one of my friends. So that's now something else. If they're not going to play the game, now how does that affect the playoffs? But again, that's small potatoes in comparison to what happened. The good news is there's a lot of positive news that's come out today about DeMar. Cognitive seems to be intact, I think was the actual words that they used.
Yes.
Neurologically, he's responding. And so there's a lot. And so, you know what? Listen, I don't know. I'm sure we all did this, but when news broke, I put it out there. Let's keep his family and keep him in our thoughts and prayers and positive vibes. And I know everybody did. And I think in a way, it kind of brought our country together as people.
Sure.
And I think a lot of times we forget about that.
Absolutely. Right. And the other thing, Jim, that I worry about as well, when guys are out there in that whole deal and all of a sudden they make a play and they beat their chest like this in that whole deal. I'm surprised that hasn't happened to someone.
You're right.
Because when they're out there beating themselves in the chest, man, and that whole deal, they're pounding their chest.
Sure.
Absolutely. So that could possibly help it happen then. Too.
Absolutely.
Well, I've seen injuries from players celebrating and they get injuries.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
flipping in the end zone.
Yeah.
But bending over and putting socks on, people are getting hurt.
Right.
I remember
less
hear those
on your
stories.
chest.
Yeah.
And everything.
What, he hurt his back?
Well, no, I'm saying in general. Well,
comedy. I'm the comedian and I'm out of work.
Tip your waiters and waitresses on your way out, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
All right, we have about 2 minutes left. So Jim, I want to give you the final couple of minutes. Give us your thoughts and everything. Just kind of wrap everybody's brain around the book, just on kind of what's going on today in the NFL and things that players can do or should do, or what the NFL should consider to be safe moving forward on all circles. What do you think?
One thing I wanted to say about the book, I forgot. Lyle fought Muhammad Ali.
Yep.
And he
in an exhibition fight.
Yeah. The Boxing Hall of Fame gave me pictures to put in the book.
Okay.
And stuff, which was nice.
Right.
But today, football is completely different, and they are doing everything they can to make it safer.
Mm-hmm.
They've kind of opened it up. It's more a quarterback receiver thing, and they're not hitting anymore. They're arm tackling, and they teach them to wrap up, to come up and hit with the chest and wrap up. Which to me, that you're safer if you hit with the shoulders, I believe.
We were taught, but Jim, we were, for me in high school, I'm from Ohio.
Right.
We were always taught, man, to hit with the body because that meant they had to go through you and then you work across them in that whole deal. Body, work across. That's what we were taught as far as tackling was concerned. The number one thing they didn't want us to do was lead with the head. Right. Because they said if your head is down and you open up those vertebrae, same thing that happened with Darryl is going to break your neck. And so look, gang, you're never going to take the seriousness out of the game. You're just not going to do it with the injuries or anything. It's not going to happen. It's whether you can, minimize them. Right. And, as far as the injuries are concerned. Absolutely. And what happened to him the other night, it was a freak accident. That was one of the most freak accidents I've ever seen in my life.
I was watching
tackle.
Yeah. Right. I was watching the game.
Me too.
My wife and I had something recorded that we were going to watch. I think it was Yellowstone or something. And literally, just as I turned off the game and went to my DVR, my messenger started blowing up for my friends who were watching the game. Oh, did you see that? Oh my God. And I'm like, what did I miss? I mean, within seconds that I missed it, and then got caught up, and I immediately got off the TV show and I went back to, obviously by that point he was in the ambulance and gone, but you know, all the backstory and what was happening. And it's just, you know what, things can happen like that.
And you know, the other thing is this, gang, and a lot of folks, man, they see the finished product on Sundays, right?
Yes.
But for us, man, it's a weekly thing and getting ourselves ready for the next week and that whole deal. So when I would come off the field and that whole deal in different stadiums and that whole deal, and even with our own home crowd, if we were losing, we lost really bad to the Raiders or something like that. Oh, we got cussed out. We got all kinds of names. You are the worst player that ever stepped on the field. And you know what I used to tell people? I would tell them, I says, you want my helmet? And if you want my shoulder pads, you can go out there and see if you can do a better job.
Right.
Do a better job than I've done out there on the field.
There's a reason you're sitting up there.
There's a reason. So what would you do if I came to your job and criticize you at your job and what you were doing and sit there and eat a hot dog and some popcorn and a big gulp?
My wife does that all the time. It's okay.
I know. But I'm just saying,
you're right.
The sensitive aspect of it with our fans sometimes, man, goes overboard.
Absolutely. Fandom is beyond what it should be.
Yes.
Right.
All right. We are just about out of time. So let me just say this. Thank you for everybody for watching. And I'm going to just, before we go around the horn, so to speak, sorry, guys. I just want, on behalf of everybody here at the round table, all of our friends and family, we do want to continue sending our positive thoughts and vibes to Damar Hamlin and his family. Let's just continue to get that positive news coming out of Cincinnati. And kudos to the folks at the Cincinnati Hospital. That was the University of Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken, for their support, their quick action once they got him to the hospital. And of course, the Bill staff that took care of him immediately on the field. It was a scary situation for everybody. No more than what it was for the player. So positive vibes to him and his family will continue. With that, George, got to go around the horn. Final thoughts on today's show.
I thought it was fantastic. Again, I love our new setup. I thank again you, Aaron and Rick, for allowing me to be with you guys on here. And Jim, my friend, I'm glad you were here. I'm thrilled that you guys got to meet before. I was absolutely tickled to death. And I want you to come back anytime you want.
Okay, I'd love to.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Cool.
All right. Go ahead. I just want to thank everybody for having me on here, and this was a lot of fun.
Well, good. We appreciate having you.
This is a good guy.
Yeah.
And
all three of you guys are good guys.
Yeah, thank you for the book, Jim. I appreciate it because once again, Lyle and I were very, very tight. We were very, very good friends, and to be able to read this book is going to be a pleasure. Look, folks, have a prosperous and a very safe New Year and that whole deal. Everything is going to be good for you.
It is.
Take it all in and have a good time.
Absolutely. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. Again, the book is titled The Lyle Alzado Story. Nobody's Invincible, written by Jim Duffner. Please check it out. My book is also available on Amazon, but his is going to be more entertaining than mine, I'm sure. Although my inscription says George on it.
I know. I was just going to say, we're going to have Jim scratch my name out and put Aaron's in there and write a whole nother piece in there.
All right, with that, we're going to say goodbye. I want to thank JPEG back there behind the board for making us look good, sound good.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoy the show, and we look forward to seeing you next week. I wish I can tell you what we're going to do next week.
Is it WWDBTV.com? Did I do it?
Worldwide digital. Yeah,
I
WWDBTV.
I did it.
Your homework is to practice that for next week. All right, as I always like to say to end every show, be kind to everybody. Why? We're all we have. I'm Aaron Phillips for the crew. Thank you for watching here, the Roundtable Show, WWDBTV. We'll see you next week, right here, same time. Thank you for watching.